Yes, are we live? Yes, hello!
Hi.
Welcome to Makeup Minis today. I have my partner in crime, Kate, and this is Alison Budge from Love Your Life Now Aesthetics. And we're both on our business pages today so we can share all our knowledge to you women out there. So we're going to talk about kind of short or maybe long-term methods on how to maintain youthful, fuller lips. And we're going to start off today with Kate, who's going to discuss about some lip care products.
So
over to Kate.
Brilliant. So I'm just going to be talking generally about how we can kind of look after our lips as part of our skincare routine. So I don't know, I think when you're talking to people or when you look at people, you tend to either kind of look in people's eyes or lips as they're speaking their mouth. So, you know, your mouth gets a lot of attention from people, so it's kind of nice to look after it and keep it nice and healthy and hydrated and kind of okay. So, what I wanted to talk to you today about is some of the main issues that kind of affect the mouth area. As we get older, tends to be that we can lose some volume in the lips, so they can become a little bit thinner. You can lose a little bit of definition around the lines, so they're not quite as kind of standy outy. You can lose kind of some of the colour, so they go a little bit paler. I mean, some people have dry, chapped lips all the while, but generally, our lips do become a little bit drier as we get older. And I think one of the things that a lot of women that have come for facials for me have kind of talked about, are the little kind of like lines, the vertical lines that get across their top lip. So there's some of the areas that kind of happen to mouths and lips as we get older that some women and men want to do something about. So all I really wanted to talk about was to remember that when you're doing your normal skincare routine, don't forget to apply products around this area, because I don't know, like a lot of people when they're applying their skincare either in the morning or in the evening, they're either in a rush to get out or they're in a rush to get to bed, basically. Don't always look in the mirror when we apply it, and it's really common for people to miss out whole chunks of their face because they're not looking at where they're applying stuff. So make sure when you are applying your skincare, you slow down, you look in the mirror and you make sure you cover the whole of your facial area, including all this area here. Because if you're using really good skincare, and I know I've talked a lot about sort of vitamin A products, so sort of in the retinoid family, they're really good active ingredients. Well, you want to make sure that you're getting those around here because they're really going to be good for fine. Also vitamin C, if you're using vitamin C, that's a really good one to get around here. Maybe not so much get it on your lips because your lips can be quite sensitive. And then when you're using kind of your hydrating and your moisturising products, I take them all over my lips as well. So I'm sort of treating my lips as part of my skincare routine and not leaving them out. Because I think as we age, the lips, like a lot of the issues that we get with our skin, is the collagen and elastin that we have that kind of keeps that, nice, plump, youthful appearance, kind of decreases. We don't produce as much, and also we're not producing as much moisture. So that's kind of why why the lips can change as we get older. I would say as well is maybe to do a little bit of an exfoliation on them every now and again, but don't use anything too harsh or scrubby, because your lips, the skin on your lips is thinner, it's more sensitive, it can be irritated easy, so you don't want to use anything too abrasive, but you do want to kind of keep your lips nice and kind of exfoliated and kind of keep them nice and fresh looking. So that's that. Also, I say it every time, SPF. So you need to kind of protect your area from sun damage. And also, I mean, in my youth, I had the odd cigarette. I would imagine most or a lot of people have.
I tried it, but
so obviously smoking is one of the biggest causes of why we kind of get those lines at the top lip. So if you are still smoking, I'm sure you probably want to stop. If you do, there's lots of help out there in your GP practices, and in Boots and wherever else. So that's just something to think about. And also, what I like to do is a really easy self kind of plumping exercises. I will massage the area around my lips and on my lips, which kind of gets the blood circulation going, and immediately has an effect of bringing a bit more colour to your lips and kind of plumping them up a little bit. So that's that's just something nice that I like to do. And just really quickly, if you do have dry or chapped lips, I was looking at a video from somebody called Nadine Baggett the other day. She's a well-known beauty writer. She's got a YouTube channel, and she was talking about lip balms and how we've all become a little bit kind of addicted to that tingly, warming, cooling sensation that you get from a lot of products. And that's usually because they contain things like mint, cinnamon, ginger, capsicum, which I think is like a chilli kind of part of the family. So ingredients that when you hear it, you think, oh, that's got a little bit of a hit in it.
Yeah.
That kind of creates a sensation in your lips. But because your lips are so sensitive and the skin's so thin, it can set up an irritation cycle. So kind of you use it because your lips are dry, but that can make them more dry, so you use more lip balm and and on and on. So she was recommended 2 particular products that she says don't contain these things and are brilliant. One's by a French brand called, which is La Roche-Posay, and they do a Cytoplast Livre, I think it's called, which I think is French for lips. That's meant to be really good. It's a tube, so it's not the stick, it's not the greasy thing, it's more like a cream. And then Uracin as well do a good one, which I think, and that's Boots. You can get that kind of quite widely, I think. And I don't think that one would be too expensive. The La Roche-Posay will probably be a bit more, but I imagine you only need a little bit and it'll last you a long while. So if you do have really bad chapped lips and you kind of finding yourself using those really thick, greasy, tingly balms, maybe think about trying something different.
Yeah.
So I think that's me.
Okay. Hi, Amy. Right. Well, I'm going to talk to you about how makeup can plump your lips, enhance them, and give the illusion of youthful lips as well. So, sorry, my throat's gone now. The first thing is lip plumpers. So they're a cheap and instant way. Oh, hi, Leslie. A cheap and instant way to get fuller lips. So they'll subtly add some shape, some volume, but it's really important to get a good quality plumper, because it might, as Kate's just mentioned, the ingredients in these plumpers are not to be used they're not really good for your lips. I mean, you might get redness or flaking or, as I say, burning sensation. They tend to be tinted or a clear colour. They come in a form of a gloss, a balm, a pot, lots of varieties. Kate mentioned before about the ingredients in some of these. So your cinnamon, ginger, mint, what was it? Capsicum. I couldn't pronounce that one. So they kind of boost the blood flow to your lips, and that's what causes this kind of plumping and rosy effect. But do use sparingly. Don't use them every day. As I say, you will get a tingling sensation, as Kate mentioned. I found one which says it's the best one, which is Smashbox. It's £19. It's called O Plump. So that's maybe one you want to have a look and try. But as I say, please use it sparingly. The next thing you can do is lip liner. So when you put a lip liner on, you usually just following your, the contours of your lip. But what you need to do to make it look or give that illusion of it being bigger is just actually go on the outer edges of it. Not too much so you look like a clown, but just, from your cupid's bow, just go on the outside. I did have a pencil and a lip gloss, and I've gone and left them in the other room, But anyway, you need a lip liner will give you that illusion. So if you just go on the outside and then you're going to fill it in. You can use a nude pencil, and then whatever shade, or you could use a darker shade and fill it in, and do certainly on the outer edges, fill it in, put your lighter lipstick colour on, but make sure it's all kind of blended in so it doesn't look like you've got this borderline. So that's one method. Gloss, if you add a touch of gloss to kind of the centre of your lips, your top and bottom, that'll give you the illusion of your lips looking a bit plumper. So anything that's kind of shimmery or shiny glosses makes your lips look a little bit plumper, and it's all down to the natural light and how it reflects it. Highlighter is another thing. So if you've got a little bit of highlighter, you just put it in again in the middle of here, and again it'll give the illusion of them being a bit plumper, and also just below here as well, putting a little touch of highlighter, that'll give you the illusion of fuller lips. So if that is not enough for you, and you're not getting the results you want, it's just becoming a bit too laborious doing different things, everyday lip liner or highlighter, then it might be time to consider lip enhancements. So Alison today is our expert on this, and she's going to talk to us about lip enhancements using derma fillers. So Alison, what is derma fillers?
Well, basically, Jackie, dermal fillers are injectable products, and they actually contain a substance that we have in our body, which is a naturally occurring substance called hyaluronic acid. Try getting your tongue around that one.
No.
Now, this is a substance that we have, as I say, in our bodies anyway, and it's naturally occurring, and it's a fantastic substance because we have it round about our joints, round about connective tissues, and we have about 50% of it actually in our skin. And it's really important because if you think of it as an internal moisturiser within your body, and it can hold up to about 1,000 times its weight in water. So think of it as a large sponge, and basically it's attracting, the water into your body. So over time we actually lose, we shorten this to itchy, it's a bit easier than getting round the big words, but anyway, we do lose this over time as part of the ageing process.
Yeah.
And this can have an effect not on our whole body but on our face as well as part of the ageing process. And our lips, they're one of the most vulnerable parts of our body because we've got really quite thin skin around our lips. So if you imagine if you start to move through the ageing process as well, plus you start to lose this sort of fluid, and your lips can become a bit flatter and appear a bit smaller. So what happens then is we would be looking at actually replacing what nature has actually given to us. So what we would be looking at with the dermal fillers, we would be placing the product within the lips, because as you mentioned about ageing, Kate, unfortunately round about the mouth is one of the first areas that we start to see the ageing process. And I know for myself what happened was I started to get little lip lines around here, as you mentioned. Now your lipstick kind of bleeds into that and it looks horrible, and I'm not a smoker, I never ever have been, but so you don't have to be a smoker for these lips to, these lines to appear. So what happens is we have what's called here as a filtering column, and that can flatten off and elongate as we get older. So that can flatten out the area you mentioned, Jackie, about lip contouring. This is called your vermilion border along here, and what happens is sometimes it may well be that you've never had a really pronounced definition of your lips, but a dermal filler product just even placed in there can actually give a really nice outline, and for me it brought up my cupid's lips just that little bit more. And if you have these little lines, the filler will naturally go into where there's a space, so it can actually help with these lines. And going back to smokers and lines around here, we can place tiny little amounts of the product around here, and that will just smooth out the lines around here. We can use the dermal fillers to actually go into the body of the lip. If you feel that your lips perhaps are not that full, you would like them a bit fuller, or as you get older through the ageing process, because you lose the volume, you lose collagen, you're losing the itchy within your lips, so they do seem to shrink. And for me, what happened was my lips began to take a sort of pursed look, kind of mean look, because if you think about it, your lips are becoming drier as well. So it looks horrible, and then sometimes you get what we call here is called oral commissures, and what happens is you get tiny wee lines down here and your mouth starts to kind of turn down the way. And if left, they can come down. That's what happened with me. Was it's like what we call marionette lines, and the lines start to go down here.
I'm pulling mine up.
So really, when we're, as a practitioner, people think, my job is to make people look more attractive, and that's not the case. It's all about, feeling better about yourself, within yourself, to feel a bit more confident. And for me, all these changes that we've discussed actually happened to me. So having, I've had my lips enhanced, and it can make such a difference, because if you think about it, dehydrated skin altogether looks dull, it looks lackluster, it looks flat, whereas if you've got hydrated skin, you've got a bloom, it looks healthy, it's plumper. So, and that's exactly what happened with me, and that's what dermal fillers can actually do. They can plump up your lips, they can give definition around your lips, they can also, as I say, we can smooth out, these lines. And the common sort of things that we would see are just what you talked about, the lack of definition. and the marionette line. So all of these things can actually be enhanced by dermal fillers. And we can also get what we call asymmetry where
Right, okay.
perhaps, you know, and I have seen this, is maybe one lip is a bit longer than the other,
Right.
or, you know, the ideal ratio of your lips is 1 to 1.6. So what you want is your bottom lip to be slightly fuller than your top lip, and that then goes, because it's important that your lips fit your particular face.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want great big huge lips. Hopefully nobody knows that I've had, and this is the first time I've admitted to anybody for Let's Facebook Live that I've had lip fillers done. So hopefully I've got a natural, subtle look, which is what me as a registered nurse and trained aesthetic practitioner would be looking for.
Yeah.
So does it hurt to get dermal fillers?
Well, I'm not going to lie. You know, the first thing to say is that this is classed as a medical procedure. It's also an injectable procedure. Now, the dermal fillers that we actually get, and I'll come on to if it's sore or not in a moment, the injectable dermal fillers that we get, they're different products. There's a couple of hundred different products out there. So if you go to a trained practitioner who knows the products that they're actually using, because if you think about it, it's the viscosities that's the difference in the filler. So what we would want in your lips would be a nice fluid filler from a start. So that would make a difference to what was injected. Now, your lips are one of the most sensitive areas in the body, so you are putting a needle in there, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But the fillers themselves contain, the ones I use anyway, and I've got to say these are non-permanent fillers, the itchy ones. So they're biodegradable, they're designed to integrate within your body. You know, you can have them throughout the face, but a different product for your lips. So it is an injectable procedure, so you have got a needle in your lips, but the ones that we mostly use now, a good practitioner, they have lidocaine in them, which is an anaesthetic. I also use topical lidocaine.
So you put a little bit on just to numb the area?
Yes, usually about 30-40 minutes I would put that on, and that would help with the topical, because, and it's usually first injection that may sting a bit, because then you're putting a little product in, so the lidocaine is going to come up around the lips.
Sometimes it's the unknown as well, if you've perhaps not, it's the first time.
Of
you know, if you're really nervous and you tense and you kind of do that,
and
once
that's
you've
all
had one
about
and you've kind of got used to it.
Exactly, but you know, yes, it is an injectable procedure, and as I say, these are classed as medical procedures, so
so it's really important that they go to someone who is qualified.
I mean, you know, a health professional, ideally, you know, doctor, nurse, a dentist. As a health professional, we all are accountable to our professional bodies, NMC, GDP, GDC. We all have to keep up with continuing professional development. And at the moment in Scotland, the shocking fact is, I'll be honest, is that anybody can go on a training course for a day and learn how to do this. But at the end of the day, it's about reading a face, it's, you know, the aesthetic part, it's about being a safe practitioner, it's about, you know, if anything should go wrong. I mean, going back to is it sore, you can have things like maybe slight bruising. The lips certainly will swell because they're very, very sensitive.
So do you have immediate kind of swelling and then that goes down?
Yes, it usually can take up to a couple of weeks for the swelling
and
to
a
go
good
down.
practitioner would explain thoroughly to you all the risks involved, what to expect, what would be normal, what wouldn't be. They would talk you through everything. So and I think one of the things that we were so pleased that Alison had decided to come on and do a live with us is that she kind of shares our philosophy about, you know, why looking after yourself is important in our view. You know, it's not
making
about
you feel good about yourself.
It's not about trying to go back, you know, and look young particularly, or doing it for anybody else.
No,
it's all
I don't
about
advocate that. You know, I mean, if you look at the celebrities that we've seen, you know, you've got your big trout pout, you know, you've got great big full lips. I think that puts a lot of people off now. Really, that's a couple of things. That's not respecting the natural shape of the lips, as we discussed in your face. That's also overfill. You know, if you overfill the top lip, what you're doing is you're destroying then the ratio, and you get this trout pout look. It's too much filler. It may be the wrong type of filler for those particular lips.
It's not placed properly.
And it's all of these things that comes into the knowledge that a practitioner has.
So that's key, isn't it?
It's very
key. Finding the right practitioner that's got the right qualifications, who's producing work that you could look at and say, yes, that's the kind of the kind of look that I want. That's the sort of approach I want.
And for me, it's about, you know, I'm very much into educating. It's about informed consent, because you should have a full medical consultation, even though these are not prescription. They're a device, they're a medical device, and that's what they're classed as. But you should still be having a full medical consultation, a full drug consultation. You should be being told, you know, what are the potential risks, what are the side effects. So these are all the things that you should be asking. You know, it's very rare to have a rare complication, but should there be an instance, and as I say, it is rare, where, you know, you've got a lot of blood vessels within this area, you need to know your anatomy. And if by any chance one of these little vessels was blocked by the filler, you know, that is something that can be dealt with an enzyme called hyalase. And again, if you've got a practitioner injecting lips who can't prescribe, who doesn't have their drugs, you know, so it is all about making sure you go to, and you can find out a registered practitioner from Health and Improvement Scotland, where all the medical practitioners at the time are regulated.
Yeah, and we could put a link to that, couldn't we?
Yeah. So we're on Alison's page today. So if anybody's got any questions, just put a comment below, and I'll refer them to Alison.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
If you do want to know more, because Alison's got a wealth of knowledge and information, experience, again, we'll put Alison's details on there, but she's also doing a presentation next week at the, I don't know if I'm ever pronouncing this name, the Liberty Centre in Edinburgh.
Right,
It's next Wednesday, the 24th of October. It's at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, yeah.
So she'll provide a lot more information, and it's just not on lips, it's on the
It's
whole
all,
spectrum
yeah.
of fillers.
So can people still get tickets? Is it
Event, right, yeah.
So if
and
you
we're
want
talking
tickets
about
actually, we can put the link in on our pages if anyone wants to come along to your presentation. But as I say, if you've got any questions, just put a comment below for Alison, and equally for Kate about any lip care products or makeup as well. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I think so.
We've all got our notes.
Yeah. I think the only thing I did want to mention was about fake fillers.
Yeah.
Because there have been some incidents where practitioners have been using fake fillers, because you can buy them over the internet and you can inject yourself. Just to beware. And if you do go to a practitioner, ask to see the unopened box, ask to see the expiry date, and ask what product, and that's what this is all about. It's about educating you. So if you go to a practitioner, it's like, you know, exactly what kind of dermal filler is it you're going to use on my face, lips, whatever. You know, let me see the expiry date, and the box is unopened. So just to be aware of that. So unfortunately,
that's a good piece of advice. Yeah, great. Okay, before we finish, we did have a couple of questions from Joy Fraser and Carol Thomas, and they just ask, you know, about what lipstick, about, you know, having lipstick stay on for the whole day. So yeah, there are lipsticks or stains that claim to last 24 hours, but for me, preparation is key. So if you go out and purchase a lip primer, so you put your lip primer on first. It's like the same as a face primer and eye primer. It's going to make it last a lot longer. I have in my kit NYX. I'm trying that out at the moment. I mentioned before a lip liner. That will make your lipstick last longer. So because it's not going to, you know, bleed. Also with your lip liner, you could actually just fill in all of your lips, and that will make your lipstick stay.
And then put lipstick over the top.
Yeah. So you line your lips. Put it also on your lips, and then put your lipstick on top of that. Matte lipsticks tend to last longer than your glosses and your shiny ones.
Glosses are off after a second.
Yeah. Another thing is, once you've applied your lipstick and liner, blot it with a piece of tissue, and maybe just put translucent powder over it as well, just to blot it, and then maybe reapply. I think Carol had mentioned about sensitive lips. So I think the only thing I can say is make sure it's hypoallergenic or natural based, but you did mention that certain, you know, natural based products may be irritated, so it's a tough one. It is really going out and actually doing a lot of testing different brands and
You need to
finding what
find
fits.
one that,
Yeah.
I don't want to recommend one because
You don't know what
I don't know what your sensitivity is, and it could be that it's the sensitivity is you maybe not looking after. I'm not saying you are, but you're not looking after that area, and that's why your lips are just sensitive to certain products.
I mean, I think the thing is with your lips is what the skincare, what you want to do is to get that your natural barrier function back up and in place, because it's that's one of the protective jobs that your skin has, which is to keep stuff out that needs to be kept out and keep stuff in that needs to be kept in. So you really want to get your barrier function good.
Yeah. So I think that's us for today. So thank you for watching, and I say if you've got any questions for Kate, for Alison, please put in the comments below and we'll answer them to you, and we'll put that link on for Eventbrite for Alison's presentation next week. And that's us. So thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.